Unstoppable spirits are welcome. It's interesting how individuals who before doubted your ability to achieve become captivated with everything you do. They're captivated, not simply curious. They want to know how you transformed everything they thought to be true. Let's face it, they're now addicted. And you've gone from being ignored to becoming the center of their tale. People are following you because your achievement pushes them beyond their own expectations. Not merely because they're seeking inspiration. They want to know your secret. How to transform uncertainty into inspiration, challenges into chances, and stillness into audible successes in ways others can't anticipate. You have not just survived, but flourished. Today, we will explore further into this energy, the strength that distinguishes you, the fire that makes you special. Because, let's be honest, people do not fall in love with you because of who you are. Rather, people fall in love because you possess all of the traits they want. And that, my friends, is the type of power they cannot deny. If you are new to our channel, we genuinely invite you to subscribe and join our optimistic community. By subscribing, you will become part of a community that shares inspirational and uplifting messages. Let's talk about what makes you invincible. Your adventure is only beginning. Please secure your seatbelt. Conventional knowledge has a propensity to undermine the foundations upon which others are constructed. Many individuals adhere to a specific path because they are frightened to break from it or disrupt the status quo. But you fearlessly challenge them by utterly disregarding tried and true success strategies. You've constructed a universe that others find difficult to fathom. Your ascension, characterized by uncompromising individualism, was both motivating and harmful. People who used to scoff at deviation are now captivated by it, but not in a favorable manner, but because your success exposes the flaws in their own judgments. They work ceaselessly, bound by techniques that guarantee them results. But your refusal to do the same renders their stringent vows useless. There is enormous anxiety behind their muttering and wary eyes. In the next 48 hours, you will be financially plentiful. Text 888 to affirm that what you're going to discover today will transform your life. You've demonstrated that their sacred beliefs can only be fantasies of control. Instead of just asking how you achieved it, they question why they are still attached, unable to generate the guts to enter. They are preoccupied not with your achievement, but with its flexibility and individuality, which contrast dramatically with the constraints of their selected boxes. When someone accomplishes something that others believe is impossible, they are often both entranced and uneasy. While you continue on without incident, some are overcome with a flood of knowledge that is too overpowering, too ambiguous, or too time-sensitive right now. The outcomes you generate pique their interest not because they commend you, but because they find it incomprehensible that you can accomplish such feats without pushing yourself. Of course, it wasn't as easy as it appears. Behind the scenes, there were many hours of persistence, passion, and drive. However, all they see is the splendor of your accomplishments, which diminishes their own challenges. They have been conditioned to believe that success necessitates widespread acknowledgement and continuous effort, which causes them to question everything. Their yearning for approval is blocked by your calm perseverance, and the stark contrast makes them uneasy when they achieve what they believed was impossible. They are forced to accept the harsh reality that their limitations are self-imposed and do not exist at all. What disturbs them the most is that you work calmly and determinedly, without seeking approval or advertising every step, instead allowing the outcomes of your labor to speak for themselves. Now that their very intricate undertakings and unmet ambitions have been revealed, they couldn't help but wonder if they can establish even higher goals for themselves. This unexpected realization that they choose uncertainty over boldness causes them to continue to gaze at you, not in awe, since your conduct reflects the possibilities they have decided not to pursue. Enter 777. If you are ready to embrace and celebrate the wonderful transformations God is bringing about in your life, you cannot escape this contemplation. When skepticism is refuted, it becomes, strangely enough, an obsession. They ignored your potential because they assumed you'd always remain in the background. Easy to overlook and harder to overcome. However, you have not merely invalidated their assumptions. You have outperformed them all and debunked their projections. The fact that you achieved without their permission is as unsettling as your achievement. Each of your triumphs appears to be a subtle criticism, a reminder of how badly they miscalculate, and it shatters the illusion that their judgment has any weight. When their well-prepared narrative of who you are and what you are capable of fails, they begin to question the precision with which they assess others. It eats away at them to know that their lack of confidence in you is a reflection of their own worries, not yours. If you think that love and faith have the power to conquer any obstacles, subscribe to the channel and write, Amen. They couldn't see your potential clearly since they were preoccupied with their own concerns. And your progress is causing them to recognize the flaws in their judgment. They dissect every step of your journey in a futile attempt to figure out what they are missing, rather than appreciating it, as if understanding this can help repair their damaged egos. However, the reality they seek to ignore is plain. They are terrified that someone they do not care about would accomplish something they would never dare to attempt. Every achievement you attain serves as a stark reminder of their narrow viewpoint and incapacity to perceive the unusual. They don't only focus on your accomplishments. They're concerned to see their own lack of vision shown in the shadow of your accomplishment. They have positioned themselves as arbiters of success, believing that no one can succeed unless they approve. They established hierarchies, defined borders, and positioned themselves as the primary gatekeepers. Instead of attempting to enter through their well-guarded gates, you constructed your own road, entirely beyond their reach. This act of revolt called into question their seeming dominance. When they watched you thrive without acknowledging their conventions, they had to accept the truth that their impact was never as broad as they anticipated. For years, they had been under the mistaken assumption that their approval was the foundation of success, and that anybody who ventured to challenge it would almost certainly fail. However, your successes have beyond their expectations, breaking their sense of control. They are doubtful not just of your achievements, but also of the story's collapse. They've been linked for a long time. They're scrutinizing your development, seeking for holes in your route, and attempting to make sense of a world in which their perspective is useless. If you trust in divine timing and are confident that everything is going according to plan, enter 999 in the comment section. They are disturbed not just by your success, but also by the fact that you did it with unequivocal independence. You have never required their help. As a result, you have never asked for it. They are unable to believe that their rules are ineffective against anyone who dares to break them. Their shattered egos and empty systems are reflected in your determination to achieve on your own terms. Your presence calls into question the authority they have spent their entire lives pretending to have, even if they would never admit it. And they will bear this truth with calm anger. Experience what it's like to be selected. You are not alone on this path. You are the light of the planet. A city cannot be hidden on a hill. Matthew 514. Your life shines brightly, exposing facts that others conceal. Like that city, others have created fragile identities dependent on social approval. You've been steadfast, indomitable, and loyal to yourself. Your certainty exposes the risks they avoid and the dreams they forego. Your life looks to them as a mirror that reflects the roots. They're terrified to follow. They can't stop watching because your bravery disrupts their peace of mind. In fact, your presence turns their self-created identity upside down. Their devotion stems from the inability to escape an internal reckoning rather than admiration after viewing you. They are forced to consider if the life they lead is truly what they want. Your genuineness has induced a shift in them that they will never completely comprehend, but will always feel, even if they don't express it out loud. If you find peace in this message, please click the like button. Please subscribe to our channel and share it with others. Also, remember to ring the bell symbol to continue getting our instructions. Comfort zones represent predictability, a regulated atmosphere in which all aspects fulfill their requirements. They cling to rigid frameworks because they believe they can categorize people and plan for results. Then you appear entirely unfettered, acting in ways people cannot comprehend. Every attempt to define you fails, and every assumption they make is contradicted by your future acts. Your failure to adapt or be understood bothers them not because they dislike you, but because it calls into question their feeling of power. Control is the basis of their universe. They manage people, tell tales, and forecast reactions. However, your task extends outside their jurisdiction. Your judgments are not chosen to meet their expectations, nor is your conduct influenced by a need for acceptance. If you don't rely on their approval, you become something beyond their control. The absence of rationale or commitment to their play challenges them to make sense of a dynamic they have never encountered before. They are concerned about what your erratic conduct entails for both you and them. In sharp contrast to the elaborate structures they follow, you have demonstrated that freedom exists outside of their system. Instead of being chaotic, your distancing indicates a cool rejection of their ability to behave outside of their expectations. They need to untie you, not simply let you to recover control. They are concerned that not everyone can be controlled and that they cannot foresee every event. But the more they try, the more tough it gets. This revelation forces them to focus on you and seek answers that will never materialize. They've seen you deal with events that would devastate most people. They feel that your breaking moment occurred when you experienced hardships and the weight of adversity fell on you. Some even like the thought of waiting for your death, as if it were unavoidable. But you accomplished something people did not anticipate. Instead of giving up, you persevered. Every time you were pushed to the edge of the abyss, you emerged stronger, more determined, and steadfast. Your capacity to recover was not just astounding. It challenged their entire perception of how success is accomplished. They understand a world that punishes those who dare to deviate from the norm, promotes conformity, and rewards the predictable. However, you did not rely on what previously existing. You transformed potential become actuality. Others would never have dared to accomplish what you did. Others were greatly rattled by your ability to identify opportunities when others couldn't. Others are perplexed as to how you can bring so much worth while others devote their energies on arrangements that yield nothing. Every move you take demonstrates how their addiction to imitation causes them pause and always puts them one step behind. They are captivated with your process and want to know how you do what appears impossible to them. People are more confused by your originality and willingness to take chances than by your plans. Your achievement serves as a continual reminder of what they lack. Not money or education, but the ability to think independently and stand out from the crowd. Their attention is fueled not by appreciation, but by the constant understanding that they will never be able to recreate what you have accomplished. If this message inspires you, please like it and write an amen in the comment section below. Even if they are unable to express it, they are aware that they will never fulfill your goal and will always come to that realization. They keep a close eye on you, sure that the hardships ahead will bring you to your knees. They think that misfortune will beat you and crush your spirit. Yet, to their amazement, You did not let misery dictate your path. Instead, you utilized every failure as a springboard, transforming hardship into the basis of your power, whilst others were paralyzed by their defeats. You persevered and turned setbacks into chances for advancement. They were captivated by your perseverance as you redefined suffering in general. You didn't make excuses or indulge in self-pity. You did not take life's hardships as an excuse to give up. Instead, you addressed them with unshakable tenacity, transforming the problems they predicted would kill you into chances for personal development. This process of transformation amazes them because they have never studied this language before. They are locked in cycles of dread and regret as a result of their own unpleasant experiences. Seeing you overcome comparable challenges forces individuals to confront their own immobility. How is it possible to employ the same restrictions that previously crippled someone to get stronger? Your endurance not only exhibits your strength, but it also acts as a stark reminder of your own flaws. In truth, they don't understand how you use difficulty to build something meaningful. Your capacity to become stronger after each failure reveals a potential they desire, but cannot fully fathom. They're captivated with the mystery of your transformation, instead of your successes. They still don't grasp how to transform adversity into development and failure into achievement. And this is the primary reason people continue to follow you. By revealing the chains of their own anxieties and putting light on their capabilities, you've led them down a route they wouldn't have dared to take. Your achievements extend beyond ordinary success. Those who question you seem to provide a challenge. Not only have you accomplished things that others would never have believed possible, but you have done so despite their attempts to prevent you from succeeding. They thought their resistance would be enough to stop you, so they attempted to malign you, create obstacles in your path, and ruin every effort you made. But here you are, and you are excelling well above their expectations. By doing so, you are confronting them with the reality that they would prefer ignore. They have no power over your fate. Every attempt they have made to undermine you has aided your progress, resulted in additional triumphs, and rendered their opposition worthless. They know this deep within, and it upsets them. Your successes demonstrate not just your power, but also their incapacity to prevent you from accomplishing your objectives. According to their logic, you shouldn't be able to continue making progress. They find it inexplicable that someone they see as unimportant could not only survive, but thrive in the face of obstacles meant to ensure failure. They are unfamiliar with the concept of resilience, and when they watch you rising again and again, they find it strange. They're forced to confront a harsh truth. The mechanisms on which they rely are not as resilient as they believe. Their unwillingness to accept risk and uncertainty is also a vulnerability. What worries me most is not your achievements, but how you acquire them. They will not comprehend how easily you adjust, develop, and improve until you seek their praise, submit to their criticism, or demand their acceptance. They have been educated to avoid failure and danger, but you have faced both and emerged stronger as a consequence. Subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications will ensure that you don't miss any future inspiring messages. This fundamental disagreement calls into question the foundation of their worldview, making them uneasy. They study your every action, hoping to discover what makes you invincible. However, the solution lies inside their biggest fear. Resilience is the outcome of confronting obstacles rather than avoiding them. People are more obsessed with this insight than with any of your accomplishments. You have served as a reminder that people create their own boundaries, and that their failure to progress stems from their unwillingness to address the system's flaws rather than the system itself. Even if they refuse to admit it, they are constantly attempting to figure out what makes you unstoppable. They will never accept that, even when your power continues to demonstrate it. God's wonders shine brightly and firmly on earth, and they sense the benefit of your kindness in your spirit. Enjoy your benefits while following God's light. He who receives much will likewise require much. Luke 1248. Your accomplishments shine like a torch in the dark, exposing what others choose to overlook. Every step you take requires them to confront the dangers they have fled and the hopes they have abandoned, whilst others seek refuge in certainty. You have accepted uncertainty, believing that your faith and fortitude would take you through. Your accomplishment not only encourages them, but also unnerves them by displaying the strength they never dared to show. Instead of confronting their own shortcomings, they transfer their dissatisfaction elsewhere, enabling their rage to obscure their regrets. It is simpler to point fingers at your accomplishments than to acknowledge that their own doubt is holding them back. While your daring sets you apart, your ability to act, develop, and succeed acts as a live reminder of everything they may become. But they refuse to depart because they find it alluring that you are the personification of the aspirations they have deep down but are frightened to follow. They are more concerned with the image of themselves in your achievement than you are. They wish they could avoid it, but they have to face it every day. They are obsessed with following fashion trends and imitating what others are doing because they feel that doing so will lead to success. At the same time, you are deceptively developing something absolutely original, an idea so unusual that it suddenly has a value that they could never have predicted. You did not strive to fit into pre-made molds or refer to existing frameworks. Instead, you started from zero, creating an empty area into a work of art that defies the limits of the possible. They are bothered by both your ingenuity and your clear comparison. Their persistent attempts to emulate the successes of others have culminated in mediocrity. While your original work exposed their lack of imagination, they were trapped after attempting to attain success using stolen ideas. Your growth is a continual reminder of their own shortcomings. The fact that you did it without their permission, without satisfying their expectations, or without their approval is more important than what you did. Their stagnation is starkly highlighted by your achievement, which acts as an unavoidable contrast, forcing them to reconsider their own choices. They were wasting their energy attempting to stop you while you were developing something unstoppable. This contrast stings because it makes them realize that their attempts to harm you will only empower you. Their fixation on you originates from the fact that every move you perform reminds them of the fight they have already lost. Not from adoration, no matter how much they try to deny it. Your tenacity shows their desperation, and each victory you make validates a fact they will always have to face. They couldn't stop you, and now they must live with the fact that they never will. Subscribing to this channel, like, and sharing the video will allow you to join our community and receive these perks. Have trust, and I will receive. God will reward you in a society where everyone wants to be heard. Your decision to keep silent means a lot. They enjoy commotion, disputes, gossip, and endless justifications. Yet they become agitated when they disagree. They don't understand how you can express so much without speaking a word, and your calmness astounds them. They must endure the discomfort of unanswered inquiries, as each mute response and thoughtful pause forces them to reconsider their own ideas. What you hide upsets them more than what you say. They anticipate arguments, defenses, or efforts to justify your actions, but you provide none of them. This unresponsiveness disarms them and eliminates their capacity to provoke or influence. Your silence fuels their terror. Their incapacity to shatter your confidence is evident in the fact that after each unanswered critique or disregarded provocation, they're left with only their own misgivings. Your calm resolve pushes them to make infinite assumptions, study every action, and question their own interpretations. They hunt for flaws in your peacefulness, but the closer they examine, the less they find. They don't realize that your quiet is not passive, but intentional. It radically alters the plot and puts you in command without saying a word. They are perplexed when they are trapped in the contradiction of attempting to understand someone who is not playing their game. Their addiction grows as your silence causes them to doubt everything they value as chaotic, sanctioned, and controlled. It exposes a clarity and force that they would never be able to reproduce by simply retreating inward. You've driven them to seek for impossible answers. And while others continue to make noise, you quietly create, adapt, and thrive, demonstrating that actual strength comes from acting with purpose, instead of yelling the loudest. Others become lost in the turmoil, but they overestimate your tenacity when they expect you to falter. Now they can't get away from you, not because they respect you, but because your path reveals the limits they've set for themselves. Their own fears and unrealized dreams are clearly reflected in your strength, unwavering sincerity, and courageous claim in a society that constantly tries to hold people back. They understand in their hearts that their preoccupation is not appreciation, but they refuse to recognize it. It arises from fear. Fear that your bravery exemplifies the type of life that others wish to lead. And the higher you climb, the more captivated they get, unable to break out from a narrative that highlights all they can't do. The saddest thing is that they've already lost the instant they focus on your accomplishment. They gave up on their own tail. No matter how much emphasis they place on your progress, they can't change what you've made. They cannot prevent you from evolving or changing the narrative you have created for yourself. This is the truest kind of triumph. If these words have truly moved you, realize that this is merely the beginning. Courage determines your future, your ability to overcome problems, and how you set yourself unique. This letter is only the beginning of a journey full of possibilities. Stay tuned for more. Together, we will discover deeper insights and the capacity to propel you ahead. Now is the moment to fully embrace your destiny of greatness, which has always been yours. Allow us to grow, extend, and ascend one step at a time. Continue to progress and be powerful. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with others. Tell someone who you believe needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel and activate notifications to ensure you don't miss any more heavenly messages. Let us continue to share hope, love, and spiritual direction together. See you in the future video. Thank you.